National Assessment and Accreditation Council of India. Under his leadership and his desire to continue working hard, experiment, and build an environment conducive to new ideas, Dr. Chauhan is ensuring that BigTV and, of course, Kautilya transcend its rich heritage into an institution of the future. Dr. Chauhan.
Good afternoon to everyone. First of all, I'm delighted to be here. When I came here first, when the Kautilya school was starting, that was the very beginning, I recall we're a little bit further away from the students, but I had the early impression of, I'm very proud of the fact that I was here at the inception. So, chief guest of today's function, Chandrababu Naidu Sahab, Bharat, President of BtV, my friend Vice Chancellor, Professor Dayanandji, a lot of people whom I see in the front row, whom I know personally, Dilip and many of you, parents of and the well-wisher of students, but most importantly, students who are graduating today. I'm sure it's not by design. I think it must be incidental that Syed, my good friend, your dean, did not allow any exposure, my exposure to you for the 2 years that you've been here. And he is protected from all evil influences that might have brought. But I'm thankful to Syed to have really called me. Now, so I've been interacting. That's my job actually. It's a job I really enjoyed. I've been interacting with the young students for more than 50 years. I started teaching at St. Stephen's College when I was 21 years old. Since then, I fell in love with young students year after year after year. And I was fortunate enough to be involved with some of the very bright young people from the top, because I was entrusted to run Rhodes Scholarship and later on Intellectual Scholarships, and currently including Felix Scholarships. So I've seen battery, the generation of very, very good students. And never ceased to amaze me how good the younger generations have become. The past 3 years have been really remarkable for all of us. India universities were shut for more than 600 days. And I've watched the generation that, including yours, that have lived through this tiny little RNA virus that played havoc. And I'm sure you have your own lessons to learn from COVID pandemic, and would have or should have shadows and reflections on how public policies can be made. To my mind, public policies can be many things, but public policies, from where I see public policy, and I'm involved in some of them, is really for public good. So anything that you and I plan, do eventually, currently, futuristic, have to be for public good. So COVID, I'm not going to talk for very long. I have just 10 minutes. I'll touch upon 2-3 things. As I said, I watched this generation, 2-3 years of people who, both from faculty, from students, from doctors, from nurses, my own work in the lab, and many lessons are there. But 2 lessons stand out for me, and that's in the backdrop of public policy. The most important to me is when the pandemic came, rich behaved, and I'm saying this with great care. Rich behaved exactly as rich are expected to, or we are used to how rich behaves. When I rich, I don't mean individual of us who have more money than the others. I really mean at the international level. So it is absolutely true, and it should not escape any future international policymakers that a very large part of humanity in Africa, many parts of Latin America, never saw any vaccines. although there was a huge surplus of vaccines in the rest of the world. That lesson cannot be forgotten in future public policy. I don't want to give this talk as a very serious talk, but I just finished interviewing people to go to two major universities, and I was struck by the fact that how many of young people of your generation actually have come up with a proposal they want to work in climate change and environment. Suddenly there is a huge, I wouldn't say awareness, I think we are aware of climate change by what we look at fires in, not even in Canada, fires in Greece about 3 years back. Currently, as I speak with you, Democratic Republic of Congo is a huge floods there. But it's just that everybody wanting to be part of solving that problem. I think that's very encouraging, but that can be really a bit defeating also. Why it can be defeating at a policy levels or otherwise, to my mind, this is a very personal opinion, is that if everybody rushes to what looks like everybody was rushed to, is that there will be very few soldiers on foot soldiers which will look after doing what needs to be done. So we could be in situation where we can tell everybody else and nations or states or panchayats, but somebody telling that this is what you should do. And here is a message to, at my age, I think I can easily give you messages. As far as I'm concerned, the issues that I mentioned, 2-3 issues that I mentioned to you, or the climate change especially, I think this has to be personal responsibility. If you want to work in education or health or climate change, environmental degradation, biodiversity preservation, it cannot be A telling B or B telling. Of course, you need clever people to write down the policies and so on, and there are no dearth of clever people, but eventually it has to be personal responsibility. If you are fortunate enough to have obtained higher education, and I consider you very fortunate, you've come to, and brave as well, you've come to one of the finest institutions, you've been taught by very bright people. And I said, I forgot to finish my earlier comment, when I met with you first time, my sense was, although you were a little bit further at that day, is that I was looking at some of the brightest people, and trust me, I've seen very bright people. I was looking at some of the very bright people. And last couple of days when I stayed on the campus and I interacted with some of you, I was fortunate to interact with some of you. I'm so pleased at the outcome that Sayyid and his colleagues and Geetam Kautilya School has been able. I congratulate everybody. I congratulate all of you for having created. And I'm very happy that I'm part of celebration. There's yet another. I lived through 3-4 disruption. I grew up in a refugee colony. My parents were not very rich. So we grew up in a colony which had no sewage, which had no drinking water. And that's the reality, the reality of our generation at that time. We went to a government school which was in tent. I was fortunate that Delhi University existed and we got educated for nothing. I mean, I don't remember ever asking any money from my parents for me to go to Delhi University. So we are the product of that time. But I've seen disruption in my own work. When internet came, or the communication became what it is today, taken for granted, I was very interested. Somebody should tell me when I should stop, because I can go on forever, and I don't want to do that. Please be rude and interrupt me. So I grew up wanting to listen to classical music. We had no way to listen to. So you could go to a concert, but today at the click of a mouse, I can listen to anything that I want. I can listen to it on a go, really. And I don't listen to it as much as I used to want to listen to. So point I'm saying is, in front of you, you have amazing choices. And I think all of you are aware of this. So please go ahead, and as you go forward, you're well taught, you're well thinking people. Find your call, wherever your call might be. Wherever you find your call is, I think take that very seriously. So take yourself very seriously. Individual responsibility will be very important. That's what everybody, Gandhi said that, Vivekananda said that, if you're fortunate enough to be educated, your job, your only dharma, only job is to make sure that those who are not as fortunate as you are, that you end up looking after them. I think that time has come now. But the disruption that I was mentioning to you, which is really coming as a wind and we don't know how to handle, is the generative tools which will come through AI. Everybody's agog about what AI will do. Post-internet would be, how it will pan out, we don't know. It will pan out in some way or the other, absolutely sure. It would have its positives, but it cannot not have its negatives. I think we have to have a very careful eye on what might be negative dropout and how much the creativity of a young human mind or a policymaker or a teacher or a creator of science education would be affected by this. Have to be very careful. Let me just give you a very quick example. 5th of March, a paper published in a scientific journal called Nature, where 100 papers were submitted as a trial. 68 out of 100 papers by expert eyes, those who I review papers all the time, could not be differentiated, the ones that was created by a very rudimentary early GPT generative. It would have repercussions everywhere. It would have repercussions also how a tutorial is written by a young student in any university. It would repercussions. I think you will have to figure out how to wade through this mess. But this could be very exciting also at the same time. And so the policy makers will have to budget that this a strong wind that will come. So I'm not going to say very much more. I hope Syed would invite me to interact with at least the next match slightly longer. Trust me, I will be harmless to all of you. No harm will come to you. So finally I want to say that I'm so very pleased to have come. I'm so very pleased to see all of you look so handsome. I am so very pleased that film industry should pay some attention to Geetam. And come here for, I think they should pay some attention. No, jokes apart, I'm very happy to be amongst you and all the very best. Go out in this world which looks complicated. It is complex. I mean, look around wherever you want to look in the world with climate change or bird flu or swine flu, future pandemic. Of course it's going to be complicated. It is complex. But yet it is going to be exciting. Is waiting to embrace you. You go out and embrace it with open arms. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Chauhan. As a lot of you know, Kautilya is a pandemic baby. During those months between the terrible waves with double masks on, some of us would meet, discuss the way forward, look at the skeleton with hope and anxiety, that skeleton which is the Kautilya School of Public Policy today. It's been a journey of a lot of grit and perseverance, but really the best person to tell you all about it is the founder of the school, the president of Geetam, M. Shri Bharat.
Good evening, everyone. Somebody sound on this? Thank you, Chandrababu Garu, for accepting our invitation and coming to this event as a chief guest. I'll speak about him more later on. To the students, to the family of the students, to all the guests here in the audience. When we met about 2 weeks ago, I said my speech to you is not done, so it's today. I've written down some points so that I don't forget. And this is for everybody else here in the audience also. Why did we start Kautilya? To change politics, to change policy making. To what degree will each of you do it is dependent on you. But I'm like a venture capital firm. I invest in 10 companies, one becomes a unicorn, right? So we've invested in 44 of you. Now, how many of you will become unicorns? I'm really waiting to see. And unicorns is not in terms of money, but in terms of how you're going to go out there and change India, change the world. How did we do this? With a commitment to excellence. It's been a lot of hard work. All of you have put it, all of us have put it. It's been a lot of challenges. It's been a lot of investment. Other schools in Geetam are not very happy that we are investing in you the way we are. So you do have to pay back on that belief or investment that's been put on you. And the last part, why? And as I tell you the why, I want to tell you about certain pitfalls that you all should think about. I've told this to you in some form before. It's entitlement. Nothing will come easy. You have to work hard. There's a very popular Telugu Rajnikant movie. Some of you can understand Telugu. కష్టపడకుండా ఏది రాదు, కష్టపడకుండా వచ్చింది ఎప్పటికీ శాశ్వతం కాదు. What you won't get anything. You won't get anything without hard work, and what you get without hard work will not last forever. So, and then the other thing that I want to ask you is pitfall. Don't get comfortable. Many of you have gotten jobs. That's not the end. That's the beginning. Don't settle for less, and don't be short-sighted. It's not about how much money you get today. It's about what problem are you solving for in the future. And I'll be curious to track all of your journeys. And the next pitfall is, who are you? How biased are you? How weak or susceptible are you to influence in a negative way? How intolerant are you? These are things that you've all been challenged. You've had different points of view. You've debated. You've had some fights, not too many, I hope. And you've grown past all of those things. You've also had a very progressive, liberal environment relative to any other student in Geetam. What has that made of you? And I wanted to mention something I forgot, so I'll just go a little bit back in the how. The how is not only our own commitment to excellence, but also I think I'm a believer a lot in the power of the universe. And when you project something positive, that the universe reciprocates. At every step of the way, we've had unimaginable or unexpected guardian angels come and help us through this journey. Some of you know of these challenges, but some of us in leadership know of the many more challenges that we faced. But we've had great people come forward and help us. And the other is be humble about who we are and what we're trying to do, and take people along with us, and we've always tried to do that. Now, the most important part of the why, and this is what I believe, and I want to tell all 43 of you, but if there's any other students here, to all of you also. To me, I think the most powerful thing that you can get or that you can be is having an incorruptible mind. I think nothing else is more valuable. And each one of you is capable of greatness. I think as you will hear the introduction of our chief guest, of his beginnings and how where he is now, all of you could be that, right? And we see our Prime Minister telling us about where he began. Is it only a mirage, or is it possible for us to also dream that big? And then, do the ends justify the means, or do the means matter? So in that sense, having an incorruptible mind is something that I would really wish for all of you. And that why is why we have set up Kautilya. Because you've learned how to listen, how to communicate, how to analyze, how to put your skills at use. But what are you going to use it for? Are you a mercenary for hire? And we've seen some mercenaries in the past. Or are you going out there to do good, as the Chancellor said? So these are all very, very big questions. I think the last thing that I will say in the why is, how many of you have seen Spider-Man? the movie, the first one, some part. There's a saying in that, right? With great power comes great responsibility. I'll tweak that a little bit for you. With great privilege comes great responsibility. I think your parents, your family members, Geetam, Kautilya, everybody else who's been associated has invested in you, has believed in you. You have believed in us, being the first batch. You've been brave people. Now, let's make all of this move in a direction that makes all of us proud. And that's something I think 20 years down the lane when we look back, because I'm saying 20 years now because our chief guest was instrumental in bringing ISB, and he went to ISB after 20 years. And where is ISB after 20 years? So ISB is about business, and you can change the world through business, but imagine what politicians can do. Imagine what governments can do if they do it the right way. There's nothing more powerful. So I really hope for the sky for you all, and I wish you all the best. I thank you all the parents for believing in us, and I hope that you're happy with your investment in us. Thank you. Okay, fine. So I'm done with my speech. So I have to introduce our chief guest. All of you can go look him up on Wikipedia. So I'm not going to tell you in detail what you can already find on Wikipedia. What do we know about him? He's a public policy visionary. He's hardworking. He's someone who never gives up. He's often given the story of how he convinced Bill Gates to come to Hyderabad. He's 73 years old, and he hasn't aged much in the last 10 or 15 years that I have seen him. So how he takes care of his health, discipline, we all know this, we can see this. What are things that you may know less of that I would like to say? It is a couple of things that I will say. One is his humility and the value he attaches to ego. He doesn't let it come in his way. If something has to happen, right? There have been many chief ministers in our country. Would they go running after Bill Gates? They'll say, no, let Bill Gates come to me. He's the only person who said that, no, who I am, my identity is not more important than my people. So the higher you grow, the more your ego grows, right? So how are you going to keep that in check? This is one example for you to remember. The other is, as a public policy leader, when he thought about the development of the state, one thing he said is very essential is the importance of safety, security, and also the growth and development of women and children. If you look at the journey of the erstwhile United States and today the separated states, the peace that he brought has brought prosperity. Today, Telugu people are the fastest growing demographic in many of the most developed nations. In the United States, it's the highest per capita income that they earn, larger than the Jewish community, and the fastest growing community in the US. In the top 10 cities of GRE test takers in the country, 5 cities belong to Andhra and Telangana. All of these were his value that he gave to bringing safety, peace to this environment. Tolerance. Today we see an environment where we want to undo what the other person has done, or say what the other person has done is wrong. He created an environment of tolerance. He took criticism. He allowed it to exist. And if you see, because of that, even after he lost power in 2004, subsequent governments continued what he started. The last 4 years is an anomaly. I hope something like that doesn't happen to Andhra again. But from 2004 to 2019, we could see how Telangana or Andhra Pradesh has progressed. And one other thing I think that's very important is, as humans, we age, we die, we get weaknesses, we get baggage. Everyone does. Even Chandrababu Naidu garu. He's my leader politically in a different leg of my life. But what sets him apart is, yes, he's got baggage. But how does one evolve? How does one shed baggage? How does one reinvent themselves for the future? Many leaders live very well for 5 years, 3 years, 10 years. But someone who's been active and at the forefront of leadership and policy making from 83 till now, 2023, 40 years, and at the amount of pressure that he has been in, and still keeping himself fresh and evolved, learning, and now he's speaking about artificial intelligence more than I am speaking, right? So this is the kind of leadership that we should all inspire to be. And with these few words, I am very glad to introduce our chief guest, Chandrababu Naidu Garu, and we are very grateful to you, sir, for coming and accepting our invitation to speak to our students. And I request you to come and share your thoughts with the audience.
Respected Chancellor, Mr. Virendra Singh Chauhan, President Geetam, Sri Bharat, Dean, respected Syed Akbaruddin, members of the Board of Trustees of the Kautilya School of Public Policy, distinguished guests and parents and friends. By seeing all of you, I addressed so many convocations. First of its kind, I am addressing a public policy graduation ceremony. This is the first time I am seeing you. I am very happy to address all of you, because public policy is a very powerful tool. If you make a proper public policy for future generation or present generation to solve the problems, it will go a long way. Sometimes, without knowing all these things, we are all working. That's why we suffered long time after independence in poverty, or people used to heckle us, Hindu growth rate, that is 1% or 2%. And at the same time, the name of the school, I am very happy, Kautilya. Nobody can tell. If you think once Kautilya and Ardhashastra, then you know how to deal. I am very happy, very apt name, excellent name, you are named, but your students have to prove it now. The outgoing students has to do it, all these things. I really appreciate all of you. Now, Mr. Bharat and also Vice Chancellor has rightly mentioned, I want to place before you, I am always talking ahead of times. That is the problem with me. That's why my stakeholders sometimes may not understand. Sometimes I am losing elections, but my policies are permanent. The benefits are permanent. If 25 years back, I created a vision for combined Andhra Pradesh. Then all people used to call me, where is vision? What is vision? No vision is only a 420. As they rightly mentioned, I had an extra amount of tolerance to bear all these things. Today, you have seen the Hyderabad. 25 years back, if I should have thought, why should I do all these things by taking all sit? Then today Hyderabad will be different Hyderabad. It may be some improved version. That is where I prepared Vision 2020. Today, that vision has become a reality. People are enjoying. Some people may not vote. Some people may not remember because you are all younger generation. Memory is very short. But my conscience always tells me, you have done right job. That is the satisfaction I am having from the beginning. If you see here, this forum I am putting one more vision India 100 years. 2047, India's 100 years Independence Day. Recently we celebrated 75 years independence celebrations. If you see now, I have seen how village roads, how traffic. When I became first time MLA in 78, government used to allot 2 jeeps for us, that too military jeeps. We used to go to military campus and bring the jeeps and get repair. Always we had to push it. It won't start. That was the beginning. That is the road's condition also. At that time, they used to give us 3 cylinders, gas cylinders, MLA privilege. We used to recommend the cylinders for our stakeholders and also telephones. Of course, never it worked at that time. Even lightning call, if you connect it, it will take 1 week to mature. That was the status. Now, it is very inspiring time. If you see now, everything is happening. You are seeing new India. And also, if you can compare before economic reforms and after economic reforms, pre and post. Pre-economic reforms, only 1.5–2% growth rate, and so many problems, no opportunities. Only elite people will go to America for their career. After that economic reforms, first government, minority government. After that coalition governments. Now single party government at center also. But at the same time, if you see all these years, growth is very, very attractive, and also things are happening. India is very strong. Long back, if you see 1600s, 1700s, at that time we were very strong, number 1 economy in the world. Somehow afterwards, invasions, all these things, we lost glory. If you see here, if the present rate is growing, India per capita income will be $26,000 at 2047. And also, if we are growing now 8 to 9 times for the last 25 years average, if you grow same rate as on today, we are 5th largest economy in the world. One is China and USA, Japan and Germany. Same rate if you grow, you will be 3rd economy, another 25 years time. If you grow 11 to 12 times, you can cross America. If you grow 15 to 16 times, you can cross China. Can we aim number 1 economy by 2047? Yes, it is possible. That is possible because youngsters like you has to dream it and you have to work forward to achieve this. What I am saying, as individual or as organization, it is possible to achieve all these things as an organization. Here I want to say one thing. Even earlier, same population or same people, after economic reforms, we are able to improve our efficiency. All of a sudden, what is the mantra? Why it has happened? It is only public-private partnership model. This is what I call P3. If you see, when I started, I don't have money. I want to develop it. Then I started Hyderabad high-tech city, first monument, knowledge economy. Then I innovated how to go about, then public-private partnership. First I called L&T. They are very good in construction. I gave land, piece of land. Then I asked them to build a tower. 15 years, 20 years, you can get returns. After that, you can give back to the government. That is the model we created. Today, you have seen without investing one pi, we are able to construct Hyderabad. As a matter of fact, we got so much of money. For all these things, if you see proof of concepts, one is power sector reforms. As a policymaker, I am informing you. At that time, there is a deficit in power revenue, even generation. In assembly, we used to engage every session, 50% of time, power cut and agitation by MLAs. There is agitations outside. Even as Chief Minister 95-96, I used to go and visit fields which are all dried up because of power cut in helicopters. That is the demand at that time. Then I brought power sector reforms. That is the beginning. Everybody told me, don't do it. Again, I have done very vehemently. But of course, I lost power in 2004. But I am having satisfaction. I am the pioneer in India in power sector reforms. That is the benefit India is enjoying today. That is how things have happened. Even if you see telecommunication sector, one policy. Earlier, BSNL, VSNL international calls, BSNL domestic calls. Never they worked. Very, very inefficient organizations. China used to go in a big way. Then I initiated this. I had a political influence at center because of coalition government. The then Prime Minister Vajpayee accepted. That is how I was co-chairperson for that committee. We gave a report. That is the benefit everybody is enjoying today in telecommunication sector. One policy has made all the difference, and also now it is able to bring so much of health for the nation. Even if you see at the time, flights, we had Air India. Recently, Air India also privatized. At that time, Air India will operate one flight to different countries, then we can give reciprocal. Never we had a flights, so we used to block it. Then we brought it open sky policy. First flight in India from Dubai to Hyderabad, Emirates. That is how now so much of difference in civil aviation. Even Greenfield Airport, you are seeing Hyderabad. First Greenfield Airport in Hyderabad, in India. I used to visualize. I have visited 20 airports to build Hyderabad Airport. 5,000 acres, first of its kind. One of the best airport you are seeing today. This is how things we are able to visualize we have done. Even one more reform, roads. Our roads are very bad condition. Today, that is what I told. From my house, I was able to reach one more time. I used to come Sangareddy regularly as Chief Minister also at that time. 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Even though it was a national highway, but so much of time. Today, roads transformed the nation very well. Anywhere you want to go, one of the best road network we are having, that is the benefit of public policy. Even if you see Hyderabad, so many policies, infrastructure, outer ring road, and also for employment, all you name, IT, BT, pharma, finance, you name everything we are able to do, all only policies. If you see at that time, nobody visualized the importance of biotechnology. Then I asked Bill Gates, as rightly mentioned Bharat, at that time, first time, internet revolution has come because of Bill Gates. Then he came to India. I was desperate to meet him as Chief Minister. Then he said, I don't have any work with politicians. Then I said, no, I am having some work with you. I want to meet with you. Then he said, okay, you can join cocktail party. Then I told him, if I join cocktail party, I may not get good name. And at the same time, everybody will campaign that I am also joining in a drunkard party. So I don't want to come. With great difficulty, he gave me 10 minutes. I prepared 2 days. At that time, even professionals, they never used to present PowerPoint presentations. Nobody used to do that. Then I prepared very well. 10 minutes he gave me. Then he spent with me 45 minutes. Then he said, I entirely agree with your vision. I am very happy. What can I do? I said, nothing I am expecting from you. You know the strength of India. Come to Hyderabad and start your development centers. With that, I didn't leave it at that stage. All the way, I went to Seattle to meet him, to pursue with him. 3-4 times, I met him in Davos. I pursued further. Finally, Microsoft has come to Hyderabad. The person who worked in Hyderabad, Nadella Satya, has become the president of Microsoft. That is how things will happen. One step you move, another step it will add. If you see here, even biotechnology, same thing. At that time I asked Bill Gates, why can't you focus on biotechnology? He said that is futuristic, I cannot do it. Then we started Genome Valley. Today, after 20 years, COVID vaccine is manufactured in Genome Valley. We are proud of it. Country is proud of it. That is how things are happening with public policies. Even then, I didn't spend much money. Only on the other side of the city, 1,500 acres of land have given for Genome Valley, biotechnology park. So education, one of the best education institutions we are able to bring in public-private partnership. And also, another proof of concept if you see, NRIs. I am always saying all youth, don't always be job seekers. Be job providers. That is what you have to do now. When I saw youth at that time, Hyderabad IT, even body shopping work, even that also we didn't do properly because pronunciation, all these things problems, English pronunciation. Then we got excellent English coaches from Britain. Then we used to do all these things. Then our people went to abroad. At that time, we didn't go for products. I used to say, go for products. Today, everything is available. I used to say, be entrepreneurs. I am proud to say, so many Telugu entrepreneurs all over the world. Once I used to quote Jewish, number 1. Today, per capita income, Indians are doing extremely well. And also 35% among Indians are from Andhra Pradesh. That is, I am very proud to say this. This is everything is possible. All these things happen within 25 years' time. Here, I want to emphasize all of you. India has grown for the last 25 years 8 times, whereas China has grown 49 times. Now China is having disadvantage. Demographic disadvantage has started. Now aging problem has come. They have gone one-child norm. Today, that one-child norm has become a big problem for them. Now population is declining, aging is increasing. That is the biggest disadvantage. In India, some states, for the last 25 years, have grown 20 times. Some states has grown 8 times. You see the difference. Because of the difference, haves and have-nots, and difference in per capita income, and also wealth, and also revenue for the governments, all these things are happening. If you grow all these things, at least 15 to 16 times, India will be number 1 globally. That is going to happen. This is our dream. This is where we have to work it out. If you see, India is having 3 advantages. One USP is technology. Nobody can dominate in the near future. Nobody can beat Indians. That is 100%. I am telling you with my experience for the last 25 years. Second one, India is very strong. India is positioned demographic advantage. 40% of population is below 25 years. If you can give proper skills to them, proper education, then you can see the potential. They can do wonders. As on today, every year, 2.5 million people are migrating from India to different parts of the world. It is a big number, number 1 in the world. But at the same time, India is capable of supplying workforce to the world. That is the capacity India is having. Up to 2047, India is going to have this advantage. Now I am promoting one more thing. India can go further. The policy of population management. All countries never bothered about population management. Because of that, Europe, complete demographic disadvantage. Japan, China, America, all countries are facing. If we can work towards that by visualizing, promoting population, even youngsters, all of you, I'm telling you, especially students, people are becoming more and more selfish when they get more and more wealth. This is the definition I used to say always. Once undivided Hindu family, they used to have children. After that, both wife and husband are getting employment. Double income, no kids, let us enjoy. That is the theory. This is a dangerous theory. Then population also we have to manage. This is where we have to go for management of politics, then population. Then nobody in the world is able to compete with us. Future is for Indians. I'm telling you, this is my vision 2047. Corporate governance, Indians will dominate. Public governance, Indians will dominate. If you see Britain Prime Minister, 75 years back, they ruled us. Today, Indian origin has become Prime Minister of this country. That is the strength of India. That is the strength of Indians. That is how things are going to happen. And also, one more opportunity for Indians and also youth. As on today, more than 50% of middle income group are in USA or Europe. In future, this is going to shift it towards India. 2004 and 5, 14%. Now it is 31%. 2030, it is going to become 63% middle income group. With this, if you see all over the world, 44 trillion they are spending expenditure as on today. It is going to increase 62 trillion. This is a huge opportunity for youngsters to create public policies and also work towards that, how to exploit all these things. For this, virtual and physical working is the solution. COVID has given a very good advantage for us. Sitting in a remote village, you can start a company. Sitting from a remote village, you can work any company. You can work, you can earn money. That is possible. These are all the various innovative thoughts, creativity, opportunities are coming in the future. This is where today I am promoting youngsters for all of you in this convocation. P3 model, PPP, public-private partnership. We are able to create wealth. And at the same time, wealth has created huge variations between haves and have-nots. This is the biggest problem. Some people are getting 150 rupees a day wage. Some people are getting crores of rupees as honorarium. That is the variation. How to bridge this gap? This is where I am saying one more model, P4 model. People, public, private partnership. If you make people also partners and do this experiment, poor to rich, how to make it. If you do this experiment, 2047, India, anywhere in the world, we can make it totally poor to rich. This is our ambition. It is possible. How to do this model? There are so many models we are working. In Amaravati, one example I am giving you. Around 29,000 farmers. They contributed 34,000 acres of land willingly, without any force. Voluntarily they have given for capital. Then freely I got land. I gave some remuneration for 5 years and 10 years. And ultimately, because of that land, I can meet all my requirements, public buildings, infrastructure, roads, everything. Even then, I am going to save 10,000 acres of land. And also, I am going to give back after development for acre around 1,200 square yards or 1,400, some in commercial, some for residential. Because of that, they are getting money, government is getting wealth, and we are going to generate wealth. This is the best model, I thought. Public, people, public, private partnership. That model, somehow, it is in doldrums because of policymakers. That is another story. I don't want to place before you all political issues here. But my intention is, every poor man, how to make rich man, it is in our hands. Take example, technology is available. With this technology, is assets, liabilities, is population and human resources and natural resources, and prepare a vision for his family. Every family we can prepare a vision, and if you can execute that vision by people like you, even private companies, even our Geetam, they are having some bandwidth. They can take 100 families to transform, or some industry can take, or individual can take, NRA can take. Then if we transform with the support of government, government will be a regulator. Same model, and facilitator. Sometimes they will share all these things. Then India will become a great country. Not only acquiring wealth, not only creating wealth, how to make this health universally distributed or otherwise, bridge the gap between haves and have-nots. This is one model I want to promote to all of you. I am very happy. We are in knowledge economy, beginning of infinity. Anything you want to achieve, it is possible with you. For this, you need leadership. You are having proper leadership qualities with innovative ideas and capable to execute. everything is possible. And also digitally, if you see, we are all in 5G, IoT, artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud, and also so many things we are working. India is blessed with this. If you see Aadhaar, Jandan, Aadhaar, and also mobile, these are all very deadly combinations. I have given a report to Government of India for digital currency. At that time, digital transactions very less after abolition of 500 and 1,000 rupees notes. Today we are number one globally in digital transactions within 5 years' time. Now I am promoting one more concept. Abolish 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees. Then no money laundering, no putting of cash and also wealth, and also no distribution of money for voters. That is the biggest corruption in India, and bribing the voters. Then you can see the economy. One GST. Every month we are able to get 2 lakh crores. That means 12 months, 24 lakh crores. Even there is a huge opportunity. If you do this policy also, it will double or otherwise it will triple. Money is not the criteria. Proper good policies, we can do wonders. That is what I wanted to say here. Even all these things is one. World Inequality Report 2023. Most unequal distribution of wealth is India. This is one more alarming factor. Even some people are having huge wealth generation, others are not having. That is another problem. For this one example I am giving you last, this is self-help groups I created, gender equity. Poor women. I used to organize 25 years back. Now in Andhra Pradesh, if you see, 7 lakh groups are there, 90 lakh members are there to work in these groups, 35,000 crores they are borrowing every year, 99.5% repayment, 30% of India's turnover.
Sumita Adala Shobhini Suhasi.
For the last, with this every month we are able to get,
Sumita Drumadala Shobhini Suhasini Sumadhura Bhashini Sukhadam Varadam Mataram Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram.
Now, I would like to request our chief guest, the Chancellor, the University President, and Geetham's Vice Chancellor to start this afternoon on an auspicious note by lighting the ceremonial lamp. Gentlemen. Please. Thank you so much, gentlemen. And now for our first speaker today, our Chancellor, Dr. Virender Singh Chauhan, a scientist who's worked in genetic engineering and biotechnology. He's known for his contributions towards developing a recombinant vaccine for malaria. A Rhodes Scholar, he received the Padma Shri in 2012. He was also the chairman of the University Grants Commission and the chairman of the Executive Council of NAC, the National Assessment and Accreditation Council of India. Under his leadership and his desire to continue working hard, experiment, and build an environment conducive to new ideas, Dr. Chauhan is ensuring that BigTV and, of course, Kautilya transcend its rich heritage into an institution of the future. Dr. Chauhan.
Good afternoon to everyone. First of all, I'm delighted to be here. When I came here first, when the Kautilya school was starting, that was the very beginning, I recall we're a little bit further away from the students, but I had the early impression of, very proud of the fact that I was here at the inception. So, chief guest of today's function, Chandrababu Naidu Sahab, Bharat, President of BTV, my friend Vice Chancellor, Professor Dayanandji, a lot of people whom I see in the front row, whom I know personally, Dilip and many of you, parents of and the well-wisher of students, but most importantly, students who are graduating today. I'm sure it's not by design. I think it must be incidental that Syed, my good friend, your dean, did not allow any exposure, my exposure to you for the 2 years that you've been here. And he is protected from all evil influences that might have brought. But I'm thankful to Syed to have really called me. Now, so I've been interacting. That's my job actually. It's a job I really enjoyed. I've been interacting with the young students for more than 50 years. I started teaching at St. Stephen's College when I was 21 years old. Since then, I fell in love with young students year after year after year. And I was fortunate enough to be involved with some of the very bright young people from the top, because I was entrusted to run Rhodes Scholarship and later on INLAC scholarships, and currently including Felix scholarships. So I think battery, the generation of very, very good students. It never ceased to amaze me how good the younger generations have become. The past 3 years have been really remarkable for all of us. India universities were shut for more than 600 days. And I've watched the generation that, including yours, that have lived through this tiny little RNA virus that played havoc. And I'm sure you have your own lessons to learn from COVID pandemic, and would have or should have shadows and reflections on how public policies can be made. To my mind, public policies can be many things, but public policies, from where I see public policy, and I'm involved in some of them, is really for public good. So anything that you and I plan, do eventually, currently, futuristic, have to be for public good. So COVID, I'm not going to talk for very long. I have just 10 minutes. I'll touch upon 2-3 things. As I said, I watched this generation, 2-3 years of people who, both from faculty, from students, from doctors, from nurses, my own work in the lab, and many lessons are there. But 2 lessons stand out for me, and that's in the backdrop of public policy. The most important to me is when the pandemic came, rich behaved, and I'm saying this with great care. Rich behaved exactly as rich are expected to, or we are used toward how rich behaves. When I rich, I don't mean individual of us who have more money than the others. I really mean at the international level. So it is absolutely true, and it should not escape any future international policymakers that a very large part of humanity in Africa, many parts of Latin America, never saw any vaccines, although there was a huge surplus of vaccines in the rest of the world. That lesson cannot be forgotten in future public policy. I don't want to give this talk as a very serious talk, but I just finished interviewing people to go to two major universities, and I was struck by the fact that how many of young people of your generation actually have come up with a proposal they want to work in climate change and environment. Suddenly there is a huge, I wouldn't say awareness, I think we are aware of climate change by what we look at fires in, not even in Canada, fires in Greece about 3 years back. Currently, as I speak with you, Democratic Republic of Congo, is a huge floods there. But it's just that everybody wanting to be part of solving that problem. I think that's very encouraging, but that can be really a bit defeating also. Why it can be defeating at a policy levels or otherwise, to my mind, this is very personal opinion, is that if everybody rushes to what looks like somebody everybody wants to rush to, is that there will be very few soldiers on foot soldiers which will look after doing what needs to be done. So we could be in situation where we can tell everybody else and nations or states or panchayats, but somebody telling that this is what you should do. And here is a message to, at my age, I think I can easily give you messages. As far as I'm concerned, the issues that I mentioned, 2-3 issues that I mentioned to you, or the climate change especially, I think this has to be personal responsibility. If you want to work in education or health or climate change, environmental degradation, biodiversity preservation, it cannot be A telling B or B telling. Of course, you need clever people to write down the policies and so on, and there are no dearth of clever people, but eventually it has to be personal responsibility. If you are fortunate enough to have obtained higher education, and I consider you very fortunate, you've come to, and brave as well, you've come to one of the finest institutions, you've been taught by very bright people. And I said, I forgot to finish my earlier comment, when I met with you first time, my sense was, although you were a little bit further at that day, is that I was looking at some of the brightest people, and trust me, I've seen very bright people. I was looking at some of the very bright people. And last couple of days when I stayed on the campus and I interacted with some of you, I was fortunate to interact with some of you. I'm so pleased at the outcome that Sayyid and his colleagues and Geetam Kautilya School has been able. I congratulate everybody. I congratulate all of you for having created. And I'm very happy that I'm part of celebration. This yet another, I lived through 3-4 disruption. I grew up in a refugee colony. My parents were not very, very rich. So we grew up in a colony which had no sewage, which had no drinking water. And that's the reality, the reality of our generation at that time. We went to a government school which was in tent. I was fortunate that Delhi University existed and we got educated for nothing. I mean, I don't remember ever asking any money from my parents for me to go to Delhi University. So we are the product of that time. But I've seen disruption in my own work. When internet came, or the communication became what it is today, taken for granted, I was very interested.
Your degrees. To take this forward, our Pro VC of Academics, Professor Jayawardena.
Mr. Chancellor, permit me to present to you the candidates whose names are herewith submitted for admission to the degree of Master of Public Policy from Kautilya School of Public Policy from Geetham deemed to be University. May I request the chief guest to present the degrees to the graduates. Aditya Narayan Chingan. Aishwarya Srinivasan. Akshat Joshi. Aniket Raj. Anjali Sriram. Anjana Devi. Anurag Prabhakar. Adumbar Sampatrao Chavan. Dharmesh Bansal. Muhammad Habibullah. Sai Sri Harsha. Himanshu Trivedi. Kaushik Bhaskar. Manogna Srinaga. Mayank Gupta. Mehak Kaur. Mohammad Junaid Sahil. Mrunal Vinod Kulkarni. Nikita Jagadish. Oshin Pravesh Sahare. Jadav Paresh Parashuram, Prashant Shiva Rathod, Pratish Anand, Priyam Avasti, Raisa Lorraine Palatti, Rawson Anthony Gonzalez, Rehat Kaur, Rituparn, Sabir Mantri, Sandeep Kumar Pandey, Sanjana Kapoor, Satpute Sanyogita Dilip, Shankar MM, Shankar Narayan, Shubham Shinde, Snigdha, Saumya Kolla, Swati Botra, Tanushka Tiwari, Therese Thomas, Trilok Bhaskar, Vinaya Sanjay Baram, Wasim Ahmad, now the President's Gold Medal for the first ranker in Master of Public Policy, Mr. Pratish Anand. In the name and on behalf of the Board of Management of Geetham deemed to be university, I admit you to the degree of Master of Public Policy in this university, and in token thereof, you have been presented with these degrees.
Congratulations, everyone. So well done. Big round of applause for our... And now to make it absolutely official, can I ask our registrar, Dr. Gunasekharan, to get the record of degrees signed by the Chancellor, please? May I request everyone at the back to please sit down and not move at this time, please? Thank you. Thank you, sir. Can I now call upon one of our Kautilya students, someone who's really a stellar example of young Indians who make us hopeful and who want to work to make our country and our society a better place for everyone. Someone whose quiet demeanor hides the determination with which he achieves his goals. Ladies and gentlemen, our student speaker for the evening, Wasim Ahmad.
A very good afternoon, everyone. It's truly an honor to speak in front of our chief guest, Mr. N. Chandrababu Naidu Garu, all the dignitaries on and off the dais, Geetham fraternity, friends and families who have shaped the class that I'm so proud to represent, class of 2023, the first founding batch of Kautilya School of Public Policy. Friends, we made it. Congratulations. Chandrababu Naidu, sir, You are a leader par excellence, a reformer and a visionary with the strongest will to make a difference in people's lives. Sir, our cohort members from diverse fields could have pursued any other masters, but the same will to make an impact and a difference in people's lives that has got all 44 of us here. I believe it is very fitting to have you here with us today at our graduation ceremony. Thank you so much, sir, for gracing the occasion. It's truly a challenge to summarize the time that we spent at Kautilya in just about a few minutes. I'm sure we all remember the grand welcome we received from the hospitality team during the pandemic just a few days prior to our orientation, and what an orientation it was. Being the first cohort at Kautilya, we did not have anyone to follow, anyone to look up to. We laid our own paths. The student leaders we had in the last 2 years took up the responsibility to lead us. I want to thank Nikita, Kaushik, Aishwarya, and Trilok for their leadership. All of us together started various clubs and committees, right from sports to Theres Podcast, Shankar Sir's Software Literacy Club, Shankaran's Chabutra, Rawson's Climate Action, Mayank's Parliamentarians Club. We created a safe ecosystem for ideas and learning skills. There were no established norms. We shaped the policies that governed us. We are proud of what we have created. I would like to take a moment to thank the founding team, Shri Bharat Sir, Pratik Kamal Sir, and Sridhar Pabishetty Sir for envisioning Kautilya. It is indeed an opportune moment to thank our founding professors, Professor Shanti D'Souza, Professor Mukul Saxena, and Professor Ali Adil, for introducing us to the world of public policy. They literally taught us the ABC of public policy education. Building on those foundations are our faculty members, Professor Amarendra Pandey, Professor Vasudha Karju, Professor Kanika Rakhra, and many other distinguished visiting faculties. To all the faculty and staff of our esteemed institution, I offer my deepest appreciation for your guidance, your wisdom, and your tireless commitment for our education. To the parents and families gathered here and for the ones who could not make it here today, I want to express my gratitude for your support and encouragement throughout our journey. Thank you for being our champions, our advocates, and our biggest fans. ये उपलब्धि हमसे कई ज़्यादा आपकी है. धन्यवाद आप सभी के साथ और आशीर्वाद के लिए. ये आपके बिना मुमकिन नहीं होता. From the early days of orientation, when we were all nervous and unsure of what to expect, to the late nights spent working on group projects and assignments, we have supported each other through it all. I know I should be the last one to be talking about group projects and submitting assignments on time. But we have shared laughs, tears, and endless cups of coffee. We have challenged each other to think more critically, to consider different viewpoints of the left, of the right, and the center. Through it all, we have formed a community that is more than just a cohort of students. We have seen each other grow in the last 2 years. Here's something that my batchmate Audumbar's friend told him. You do this 2-year degree at Kautilya, and it will change the next 10 years of your life. To say Kautilya has changed some of our lives is neither a hyperbole nor an exaggeration. We have all found motivation in each other's stories. The unique journeys of my batchmates, Ocean, Sabir, Dharmesh, Prashant, and others have been inspirational. From Safarnama trips to Garba nights, we have had our share of fun, and we sat in our classroom for one last time. When we sat in our classroom for one last time yesterday, it was an emotional moment for all of us. We have created memories that we will carry with us for years to come. At the danger of sounding patronizing, I must commend the women of my cohort. Each one of you. I have never come across a group of women so strong, fiercely independent, assertive, yet compassionate. They have called us out on multiple occasions, making us better men, even though it was not your job, even though it was never their job. Today, even in their absence, we boys are conscious of what we say and what we do. At the end of the day, it's about becoming better humans, not just becoming policy professionals. One of the greatest joys of this program has been the opportunity to meet and learn from so many young, amazing people. There was an instance in our classroom where we had a former governor of Reserve Bank of India, chief economist of the World Bank, and former permanent representative of India to the United Nations. I don't know if there's any other classroom that had these heavyweights at the same time. In the last 2 years, we have sat through sessions by former chief ministers, union ministers, diplomats, bureaucrats, technocrats, and scholars from all the leading institutions of the world. It isn't really much about the networks or the connections. The sheer presence of personalities and their journeys make us believe that our dreams are also attainable. Talking about change makers, our very own rockstar diplomat, Syed Akbaruddin sir. Syed Akbaruddin sir could have chosen just about any post-retirement pursuit. But sir, you chose to be here with us, steering this ship away from storms and the occasional cyclone. Sir, you ensured that every student has access to you. Our trimester review meetings are proof of what a hands-on leader you have been. Every time you have come out of your chamber, we took lessons. The most important of them all was, in life, there will always be suboptimal outcomes. In class, many a times our conversations revolved around the word privilege. But here in front of us is a shining example, Sri Bharat sir, who has used his privilege the right way. When he talked to us during our orientation, I vividly remember him telling us that the facilities that are being provided for us are to understand what is possible, so that when we dream, we should know that the best, the absolute best, is a possibility. Sir, on behalf of our cohort, I want to thank you for dreaming big and for executing this dream to the T, a dream that we are all beneficiaries of. We recognize the efforts of the leaders of Geetam on the dais here today for building a robust institution without which the idea of Kautilya would have been inconceivable. Friends, we all chose public policy to have a say in nation building. Policy is the most crucial, perhaps the most legitimate way of nation building. And in pursuing that, we stand on the right side of history. I can't wait to see what we accomplish in the years to come. I also hope we continue to contribute to Kautilya in some capacity or the other. We all realize that the real struggle awaits us outside these gates, and that's going to be a litmus test. क्या हार में क्या जीत में किंचित नहीं भयभीत में कर्तव्य पथ पर जो भी मिले ये भी सही वो भी सही. The hustle starts here, but today we celebrate. I once again congratulate the very first founding batch of Kautilya School of Public Policy, class of 2023. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Vasim. That was wonderful. And like you said, Kautilya has grown from strength to strength and is simply getting better with age. And the person responsible for its growth, keeping it going every day, leading from the front, is none other than our Dean. May everyone, please give a warm welcome to Ambassador Syed Akbaruddin.
Honorable Chief Guest, leaders of Geetam on the dais, many well-wishers of Kautilya and the larger Geetam family, as well as my young friends from who I can now call as Kautilyans. Graduation ceremonies are like coronations. We bring out our crown jewels. The Chancellor mentioned he wasn't there. I was keeping him to be the crown jewel coming out on coronation. That said, you've heard a lot on public policy. You've heard a lot on many things, so I will pivot and share with you just one anecdote, and that's directed to all of you. That anecdote goes back quite a long time, when there was no digital money. There was no visionary who was looking at digital currency. It was a time when I was a student, but it's about enduring value. I remember when I was passing out, my professor, it was not in college, but in school, my teacher came across and took out a small little note, threw it on the floor, and said, "Who wants it?" It was, at that time, a 10-rupee note. All of us, this was in 1977, all of us said, "We want it." He said, "All right, stay back." He went back, took the note, crumpled it, threw it again. "Who wants it?" Again, all of us said, "We want it." He just took the note, crumpled again, jumped on it, threw it in the dustbin. "Who wants it?" All of us said, "We want it." So he said, "Guys," I was in a boys-only public school. He said, "Guys, remember, this is only a 10-rupee note. Yet, all of you wanted it, even when it was crumpled, even it was when trampled, even it was when it was thrown in a dustbin. So remember, this is only a 10-rupee note. Just remember, it has not lost its intrinsic value. All of you will have days when you will be trampled on, you will be jumped on, you will be pushed to the corner. You will think, what the hell is life all about? But your intrinsic value will never change. You will be precious not only to your friends, but to your family, but to the country, because the effort that has gone into you has enhanced your value in such a manner that your value will never diminish. Fly, soar, change. All the best to you, Kautilyans. We look forward to your soaring ahead and making us proud. Many of you said that you were proud to have me as your teacher. I am looking forward to the day when I will say, "Hey, that guy I taught, those girls I taught." All the best to you. Don't ever forget your intrinsic values. Those are enduring things. Today, you have friends like ChatGPT. It's only ephemeral. It's important to learn, but it's only ephemeral. You have learned new things like friend shoring, like several other concepts which even when you came you didn't learn about, you didn't know about. But don't forget your enduring value. All the best to all of you. I'm grateful to the larger Geetam family for having provided the environment for you to grow. Remember, what is of enduring value will remain enduring. Thank you very much, all of you ladies and gentlemen, for helping us add enduring value to our batch of 2023.
Thank you. And now as we head towards wrapping this afternoon, there could be no one better than the co-founder of Kautilya, a person whose energy is unmatched, whose optimism leads us all to dream big, Pratik Kanwal.
Thank you, Manika. I'd like to start by thanking Honorable CBN Sir for accepting the invite to be the chief guest of our first graduation. Being the visionary who started ISB in Hyderabad to actually coming here and delivering the keynote address for this graduation. I hope we can live up to his expectations. I hope we can live up to his PPP model. I hope we lose many times and yet our policies stand the test of time. Thank you, sir, for being with us. To all the Board of Advisors, Dean, friends, family, alumni of Kautilya and parents, I hope this journey was worth it. I hope what you signed up for is what you got at the end. I know, when I was listening to all the dignitaries, one thing is that when you go at last, all your points are already covered. So I don't know what to speak. What I can tell you today is that 5 years back, like you, I was sitting on the other side, receiving my MPP degree. And I was thinking that, everybody is asking me, dream big, do this, do that, create impact, change the world. And I was thinking, all I know is I'm catching the next United flight and going to Delhi. And I don't know what life is going to be all about. I won't have the cohort mates next to me every day. I won't have my faculty members. I won't have the great environment of Boston. And they're saying everything is taken away from me and I have to create an impact. So what I'm telling you is the harsh truth now. Tomorrow when you wake up, you will be in your own homes. You will be alone. You will be doing your own work. You will be individual contributors. The training wheels are going to be off. Now what is expected of you is to create and do big things, but it won't be easy. Why won't it be easy? It won't be easy because what you need to do can create impact is to surround yourself with a great ecosystem, which we'll have to build now, a professional ecosystem. My advice to all of you, the alumni of the first batch, the first alumni, is to actually surround yourself with people who push you, who challenge you, who trust you, and expect only excellence out of you. If you're able to build a group of even 5 people who actually have the qualities which I just talked about, you will be successful. Don't forget that you have a big responsibility. Nobody's talked about that till now. At least, thank God, nobody's talked about it till now. Otherwise, I won't have any words to say. You're now the alumni of this institution. Institution has just started. We expect all 43 of you to actually come back and contribute to building this institution, so that in 20 years' time, when CBN sir comes and gives the speech which he gave at the 20 years of ISB, he can proudly say this is one of the world's best public policy institutions. And that cannot happen without you. This is your responsibility as much as it is ours. I'd like to thank each and every member of Geetam and Kautilya who had helped us set up this institution and make us there, and the unwavering and unflinching support which Bharat has provided us throughout. I don't think this institution would have even started had it not been for that great conversation and that great push which I received from our president, Bharat. With that, I end. Congratulations, graduates. It's your time to shine. Go shine brightly. Thank you, and good evening.
So that's it for this evening. Everyone do join us for tea, and for all the Kautilyans, there is a photo booth. Take lots of pictures and write on the memory wall. Thank you so much.